I was hoping.
Walk it up, huh?
You think your spear can deal with that armor? Use attacks to energize your spear. Then hit your opponent with a heavy or power attack to blast the armor off.
Never fear, my lady. To 1,000.
That energy doesn't last forever. Shoot the glowing part of your opponent before the energy fades.
Fine day for poor singing, I say.
I think I've had too much to drink. I don't know.
Він все одно просідає.
Sharp as ever.
Not again.
So an awesome hammer.
Okay, just try again.
Я не розумію, що треба тут робити. Там щось був у мене мультикаст 3L і G, але раз, два, три, і от, ну. Раз, два, три, чотири.
I'll come find you later. I thought you'd come by now.
Am I lost? Or am I exactly where I'm...
That energy doesn't last forever. Shoot the glowing part of your opponent before the energy fades.
Now I've seen everything.
Yeah!
Раз, два. Пішов, ну.
Ignoring me again. Be my round. Ignoring me again.
Okay, just try again.
Короче, я не розумію, що вони від мене хочуть, якщо чесно. Ну, резонатор бласт, це цей спел, скіл. Ну окей, давай я ще раз спробую, але я не розумію, я, ну, постійно тичкою, в нього взагалі нема нічого. І потім просто нічого не відбувається.
How goes it, Hammerhead?
Watch as I walk in a straight.
That energy doesn't last forever. Shoot the glowing part of your opponent before the energy fades.
А, так, типа. А мені обов'язково саме мілі атаки використовувати.
Maybe finally someone who will outdrink me, huh?
Anyone see where I put my drink? Anyone?
О, заряджена.
That spear can give you the edge in battle. Keep energizing it, and then your enemies. Triggering those energy blasts should help you vanquish your opponents.
Ура, я. Зміг це пройти. Ну, коротше, до свидання. Душная хуйня у вас, якщо чесно.
We are on the same side here, Ulvund. What do you want, Ulvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought? If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of importance to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the savior herself, Walloper of Derval, gutter of youth.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Ulvund Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
Ну,
I'm here for the
зарплату
embassy.
отримав.
Embassy? Why,
Нормально.
by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
Once I've
Потужно.
dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, let's get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town. With the threat out there, I'm not
І через
endangering
49
this
хвилин
awesome
знову на
place.
роботу.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is going to get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle.
Ignoring me again?
Голоранті грошей не дають.
See what that... Sergeant Magistrate wanted.
Валюту, ну так.
I bet.
І
He's in the tavern.
героїв ніяких не купиш, тільки на дедлок це фігню. Іди працюй.
Good company
Hey, Milda. Milda. Took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Кризис на кухні. Повторяється дейлі кожах.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly. But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Olvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat, and
Все одно просідає FPS, я не розумію чому.
that'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way, assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildef. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so.
О, пішли.
Already got enough meat and bitter leaf. Just need to grab a metal panel from a scrounger pile.
Aloy. Hey, Ray. Change your mind.
О, ця гра.
To revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too.
Ну, вона насправді збрехала, в мене є одна карта. Так, beginners tutorial, давай.
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Move that machine forward. It's all part of the learning process.
Ну так.
Just need to move that machine forward, Red.
Ладно, прям сюди хоч, ну
Easy
добре.
enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round. So go ahead and pick a second machine. Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece when performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines
Зовсім
is 2 points.
дефолт розуміє.
This means your
Розповідаю.
machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that?
Та це все
Knew you were
зрозуміло.
a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second time.
Так я загину, аж 2
By
хп
the look of your
залишилось.
machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you what I mean. Ain't that a thrill?
Вона спочатку ходить.
Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're going to receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that.
Ну, це все
Say
зрозуміло.
hi behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players.
В мене вже є одна.
Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Дякую за туторіал. Давай ще пройдемо.
I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together and your machine has 3 points of combat power.
Це
My machine is standing on
зрозуміло.
grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it. Which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points.
Це все зрозуміло.
If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are two other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first.
Ой.
This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this.
Таран.
See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you.
А це типу бичара.
Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
Ура! Нарешті, давай.
Let's play! Come up. Board's all yours. My turn.
А сюди можна ходити? Я не знав, що туди можна ходити.
That's it for me. I won! Oh, but I'll play you again if you want.
Так. Я не знав, що на ці чорні можна ходити. Я думав, це типа гори. Ладно.
Time to make my move. Your turn. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. Okay, let's see. Your
Yes.
move, Red. Oh, I thought I had that one.
Ура, перемога. О, медіо, давай медіо.
Here we go.
Знов цей бичара. А, таран. Таран треба нам сюди. То що? Ще один таран, ну давай. Сюди.
You're up, Red.
А тільки,
Time to get serious.
тільки двома можу походити. Окей.
Your move, Red. Time to get serious.
Так можна?
Knocked right off the board.
No.
Ending it here? Okay. This is
Треба
gonna be
ретру.
fun. Time to make my move.
Лол.
Your turn. That was a surprise. Ah, not that easy to get through my machine's armor, is it?
Він сам вирішив походити.
You're up, Red. That was brutal. Okay, let's see.
Бач, він відразу вбив.
One less piece on the board. Oh, seriously? My turn. Well, that's done now. That's it for me. tough fight ahead of me.
Окей.
Ah, off the board he goes.
Хай ходить.
Okay, let's see.
І він,
Guess luck's not on your side today,
він
Red.
так походив, потім сюди походив, потім ще назад походив.
Let's do this.
3 рази походив. Охеренно.
I'm up. Board's all yours. My turn. Board's all yours.
Найс вони ходять, звісно.
Oh, that was the perfect spot. Time to get serious. Ah, off the board it goes. Well, that's done now. Hey, I like that piece where it was.
Хіра собі, це так працює.
That was brutal. One less piece on the board. Time to make my move. Looks like you're down to one piece. Knocked right off the board. Time to make my move. You're up, Red. Thank the forge you hit armor. Lucky me, you hit armor. That's it for me. Now that was a game, even if I lost.
Ура, перемога, нарешті. Давай хард.
This is gonna be fun.
Як розумію, я поки що не можу змінити колоду. Таран, сюди треба, і сюди треба таран.
Your turn.
My turn, да? Хай буде ось так.
My turn. Your move, Red. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. That was brutal. Ah, off the board it goes. Okay, let's see.
Він вбив відразу, лол.
Knocked right off the board. Well, that's done now. I'm up.
Він 2 рази вдарить, чи вб'є, напевно. А, ні. А ну.
One less piece on the board.
Він з іншого б'є. І тут ще вб'є відразу.
You're up, Red. Time to get serious. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? Good luck.
І там вони взагалі не відрізняються, ці модельки одні від одного. Якісь з них печара, якісь з них. О.
Okay, let's see.
Хіра собі.
That's it for me. Ah, off the board it goes. Your move, Red. Hey, I like that piece where it was. That was brutal.
Хай його
Board's all
вбивають.
yours.
Найс.
Oh, you hit that weak spot all right. Armor is your best friend in this game, I'm telling you. Well, that's done now. Your turn. Oh, seriously?
Ні, ось печару треба вбивати, я думаю.
One less piece on the board. Time to get serious.
Думав, можна вдарити. Окей, вбивалася, але я тобі зараз в дупу зайду. Ось так.
You got me. Fair and square.
І переможу. Ну, цю імбу треба брати. Донатну. Окей, давай так.
Let's do this. Time to make my move. Board's all yours.
І взагалі не на те натискав.
Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot. One less piece on the board. Ah, off the board it goes. I'm up.
Він звідси може от сюди стрибнути і 2 рази вдарити.
Knocked right off the board. Your turn. My turn. Your move, Red.
А він вдарить і втече.
Well, that's done now.
Окей.
I'm up. You're up, Red. Okay, let's see. That's it for me. My turn. That's it for me.
Найс. Стоїмо далі.
Time to get serious.
Імба нам все затащить.
Well, spark my forge. You have beaten me on every one of my boards. Now that deserves a prize, I say.
Дякую.
I'll see you later, Aloy.
Пішли подивимося. Це що? А це поучене. А, ну мені туди й треба. Окей, ну. Ну, використаю фаст-тревел.
Scroungers. Mildev said I could find a metal panel in one of their scrap piles.
Ну херачить нормально. Їх просто дуже багато тут. Я знову хочу натиснути. Ще дві. Це факт. А інших тут і немає. Бо всі інші вже сплять.
Okay. Now to look through the scrap piles for a metal panel.
І мені б не завадило. Поки канікули, треба витрачати час на максимум, як би мовити. Тому і не сплю. Плюс давно не стрімив, так що.
I think I have everything I need for Mildev. Good thing too. I can use a decent meal.
Сижу, граю. Треба ж чимось займатися. Днем. Вечором. Так, я вже стрімлю годин 12. Десь з 2:30 стрімлю. Ну. Нічого страшного, так? Я хочу... Пройду гру. Дякую за фоллоу. Там завтра престижка на КСУ вийде в лізі. От я її куплю і буду завтра ще багато грати в лігу знову. Тому може завтра на лігу приходити, а потім знову сінгл гра буде.
I happen to
Це
receive
цікаво.
another visit from Olvin himself. He was pushy, but I stood my ground. And dare I
Да.
say it, I even got my own back. Yes, I did.
I'm listening.
When I made his meal,
Да.
I used 3 pinches of salt. Instead of 2.
Each journey begins with a single step, I guess. I think I have everything you asked for.
Ні, в доту я
And
не
just as
граю.
you have inspired me, let us see
Від
if I
доти
can
мене
return the
нудить.
favor. Time to cook.
Я або КС, або Valorant, або Ліга.
Wow. Mildef, that was
Ну, я, в
inspiring.
принципі, не здивований.
Next time you want the best provisions, you know where to find me. In your next order of any
Такий
dish
дефолтний
will be
пацан.
Thanks.
Ліга, лайно, валік, лайно, водка,
Funny you
еседотка.
should say that.
Це все
As
наше.
it happens, I'm already cooking up my next portion of resistance. Hope to see you again.
Ну. Дивлячись на те, що ти дивишся. Графіка це така. Спорна фігня. Тому то таке. О, 12, це добре. На фасіки я 10 лео, тому. Мені і так норм вже.
Might be a good idea to stock up on some food before I head back out. See what else.
Я в КС давно не грав. Я пішов чилити, потім пішов в лігу грати, а зараз в Valorant іноді граю.
Savior, over here. Savior, thank you for taking the time, and my condolences that you had to endure Ulvan's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's
Навіть тут
completely
брістлбеки.
absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows
No.
for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings,
Я
I
вже
don't
якраз
know
ще
about.
одну
I don't
годинку
see how they
пограю
could
для
have come
запису
over
і
the mountains.
No
піду
other way.
спати.
The only way I know about is barren light.
Да, жах. А я тільки
If you can get to the bottom of this, I
3
can
дні.
offer a considerable bounty in return.
як відновив режим.
We shut Ulvund up.
О, ще один мене.
You said the bristlebacks were first spotted
Це
west of
знайомий.
the quarry?
Yes, according to one
Теж ці кейси
terrified
фармить.
laborer, said the ground
Але він
trembled
погано в
before
шутери
they
грає.
came
Він
charging down the
мається,
hillside.
не може нормально все
He took
вибити.
off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking then.
If you learn the truth, maybe Ulvund will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding barren light instead.
Ну, в мене був поганий режим. Що я засинав о 7, прокидався в 16. Але я його відновив, і ось перший стрім після відновлення режиму.
Back for that
І
free
знову
meal?
так.
Go on, peruse my menu.